difficult to just run straight at them and, you know, like assassinate a backline unless he gets ridiculously fed, for sure. There are other pieces of the puzzle here on this composition that can do that as the game goes along. Aphelios LeBlanc certainly later on in the game can do some wonderful stuff. This is a pretty interesting draft from the side of Live Sandbox. I'm happy to see Fate back onto the Syndra. Summit picking up the cannon. And by the way, guys, Effort is 1 assist from 2,000 here in the LCK, and he's going to get it, assuming that they get any kills with the help of Effort here in this game, and it's on his main pick, the Leona. So
if he doesn't get any assists in this game,
just pack it up.
Yeah, it's time to go home. Like, we're going to have to, the game will have to be replayed. We're going to have to revoke his first 1,999, I think.
Reset the counter.
That's the rules. If you're within 1 of 2,000 and you mess it up, like, just goes back to 0. It's in the fine print. It never happens, but...
That's why nobody knows about that rule.
Yeah, exactly. Check the LCK rulebook with your magnifying glass if you want to find that one. Well, I mean, you mentioned it's hard unless she's fed to blow people up, but she does have some consistent poke as long as she's able to safely execute it. And then there's ways for Umpty to then be able to get those resets and help win the team fight when you consider the Moonlight Vigil is also going to help do a lot of damage to get those health bars low. Yes, it's very cool skin. Lots of dancing.
Okay, we're allowed to talk again. Yeah, I was liking that song. That was good.
Yeah, I was kind of vibing to it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We see you guys. They both scan at exactly the same time. It's almost like they've done this before.
Yep. And it is going to be obviously a little bit favored for Prince in this matchup in the early parts. Especially when the plays go like that. Play very powerful, you know, in conjunction with a lot of other abilities, but at level 1 like this, when you miss it, you're just like, oh, this is going to be a little bit of extra damage. Oh. Oops!
Yeah. You see Effort has played 13 games of Leona, 10-3. Certainly helps that the team is doing well, but as I mentioned before, this is Effort's main pick. Like, if you think of Effort, you think of Leona.
Yeah. And often when you think of Fate, you think of Syndra. A lot of the time. Glad you kind of shouted that out earlier, that it's going to be another opportunity for him to pick up this champion. We have a lot of great Syndra players here at the top half of the LCK, and our playoff teams on, you know, this buff are already kind of prepping for using her a lot, I think, going into those final rounds, those final important moments leading up to the grand finals. Fate's just another one of those players you really have to keep in mind. You don't think of him as much as you think of BDD in terms of the Syndra play right now on our top teams. But, you know, he's a really strong Syndra player.
Yeah. And if you missed it, T1 versus Gen G yesterday, definitely go ahead and check out that game where BDD was playing Syndra. Some insane mechanics on that champion. If you're trying to learn, he was able to pull off some crazy things.
Yeah, no, he's definitely amazing at that, and it was really reminiscent of the match that T1 and Gen G played in the spring playoffs, where he also carried and led them to the finals on the Syndra. But going to be a very aggressive trade here as Fate tries to scatter him off as the tether comes through, and they're baiting really hard.
Yeah, distortion's down. Not quite able to get the angle, but I think, you know,
really well positioned.
There could have been a world in where you flash in for that one, but they don't know exactly where Umpty is. So if you get a little bit too ham, you can, of course, get punished, which is kind of what happened in game number 1 to Fate, actually. Speaking of which, Umpty's going to be annoying. Deny the back. It's actually pretty nice. It's not going to get too much done, especially if Lava shows his back, but if Lava decides to push, maybe you get a teleport out of Fate, but it is a cannon wave, so probably just going to amount to a little bit of annoyance here for Fate.
Yep, teleport coming through for Fate as Summit is doing serious work. That Q buff, you know, it's all about, all this is about now. But he's actually trading. It's not even a trade, it's a robbery here of the health bar of Hoya. We'll get the ward up here too. This is going to be very frustrating for just a few moments before Hoya can sustain through this.
Yeah. Note that the level ups on the W, the shields, of course, of Lee Sin. If you're playing Lee Sin, this is one way to just have more survivability, more sustain. By selecting to go for that. As we get the scout of the week here, that's going to be the autos coming in, and Lava, thankfully, will have one last tick on the Corrupting Pot, and he will be just fine. But still a nice trade going the way of Fate, who has full health, full mana.
Yep. Lava could teleport just straight back in. We'll, of course, have those recharged pots, and he's going to be able to catch the wave, so not going to be too significant in the grand scheme of things, but was definitely nice to see Fate push the issue there. This is a very aggressive attempt to take, but when you have this Kalista pressure on the bottom side, you can pull it off. I mean, LeBlanc just ports in. The timing of this, you know, you mentioned how it's going to force the back, and it's a nice trade or a nice push there, but it ends up giving you just the extra edge of freedom there in the mid lane, plus the bot prio. These two lanes together grant you early Drake control, and that's sometimes all you need to get a dragon, is just a little bit of pushing power.
Yeah. Just a little bit, you know. You get level 4 on Xinjiao, you're easily able to take that down. That first item purchase. And it's an Infernal Drake. It's a big one for both teams, and Live Sandbox being able to pull that one out is okay. We're going to be able to have this gank coming in here as the root and the stun not going to quite connect here onto Effort. As they get the root and the stun, specifically not able to land there. Krako is around, but pretty big wave. Henna and Delight is going to push this one out and back away. So would imagine that we don't see too much action unless Krako wants to be annoying.
Yep, not going to commit. It's going to help them guarantee this wave. However,
wow!
Flashes!
It was perfectly timed too. And again, you know, I was talking about the flash trade potentially in mid, but definitely good to get it onto the 80 carries.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be really painful for Henna if he decides to rotate up for the Rift Herald fight. And if he is late on the flash, he dies. He has to react very quickly. He does, fortunately for him there. Did, of course, also have Cleanse, which arguably could have been used there the same way, but a lot more difficult to pull that one off. On a shorter cooldown, but if you mess that one up, obviously, the risk is very high. As they're going to actually even use a dematerializer here to get this wave control. But the timing of this doesn't work out for the Rift Herald. It's just going to be very annoying for Fate to deal with. If this was timed a little bit later, this could have been really massive, but still going to be good. Lots of yelling and sound effects in this game between the Syndra and the Kalista.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Killing the minions with passion.
Oh yeah, it's pretty annoying for him to lane in this one. Obviously, he's going to go for QMax now after the E-nerfs, I think, what was it, 2 patches ago, 3?
Yeah, it was a little while ago now.
Yeah, earlier on this season. And so he just kind of has to sit here. Take note, though, if you look at the CS number, that in fact he's actually doing very well. So Lee Sin definitely able to sustain pretty nicely. You level up that W second on level 4, and you're just able to get that bigger shield that helps you out in the trades, as now we're having a trade down on the bottom side with the Crescendon. Henna is pretty annoying on those trades.
Really aggressive take here on the red buff, potentially. Lava's here, and they are going to get the smite off. It's actually really well played, as Fate was not able to rotate over there, so small victories in the mid lane have actually made big impacts across this game. Obviously, the Rift Herald, or rather the Drake, is going to be more impactful than a red buff, but it's still quite significant. It's a lot of gold being taken off of the map. The Rift Herald is very important in this game for getting either of these teams a pretty nice lead. Neither team scales, extremely better than the other, but the Aphelios argument versus the Kalista is definitely a pretty big one. And so getting that early gold for either team is actually going to affect the pace of this game quite significantly, but neither want to fight just yet, because this mid matchup has been so volatile. There hasn't been a big enough advantage to rotate over.
Effort and Prince level 6, I thought when they were going for that controller, I thought they would just go in there and take the trade, but not going to be the case. Effort and Prince, they don't exactly have a good amount of vision. Actually, a total of 0 wards down on the bottom side of the map, so they do not know where this Viego is.
Yeah, the vision control of this series for Liv Sandbox has been a little bit lackluster. You know, despite having that pushing lane, just not able to ever clear it. And Umpty has been pretty close by as Kroko has an opportunity.
Right, trying to get in here with the ultimate, but yeah, Umpty trying to finish it off with that Heartbreaker, and he will. Kroko's still around, but now he's up against Syndra, of all people. Tries to go for that trade once again, but Umpty will just use the mist against the wall and get to safety.
Does have to use his flash, but it's well worth it. And I think now is the time, as Fred Brion here, with this advantage that you group up for Herald. Question is, does Henna come? Because he's rotating bottom side right now. If he went straight there, they'd have a guaranteed numbers advantage. But he is going bottom. And so as a result, Fred Brion are not going to have that numbers advantage when we do actually start this up. If we ever start this up, because I'm starting to wonder if we're just going to have no plates going down this game. It's 5 on every turret right now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's very uncommon for that to happen.
Yeah, we
Generally,
almost had it on Thursday, but it didn't.
Yeah. Generally, like, at least one will fall somewhere to a pushing lane or something like that, but it's been extremely even between all 3 lanes.
Yeah. We're going to go back and watch this one more time here. They have a control ward here on this brush. Fate walks back. Brute comes through. It's just too much damage. It's really, I think, for Liv Sandbox, given the information they had, it's somewhat greedy to think that you actually win this, you know, 2v2. But they had a control ward in the brush, so I don't mind the idea, but a little bit unlucky there with the timing. They're going to start the second Drake up right now.
Yeah, and you can see Lava. He's trying to make this not a thing. Everybody on the back side here, bro, from the bottom, trying to stop it, but they can't quite, as now trying to go forward with that solar flare. You see Lava on the back line also threatening Fate here, the one-on-one, and then the 3-on-3, but Fate is having a bit of trouble. Lava still will have to back away, as his team does as well. So Liv Sandbox to get this Drake, and Fred and Brian are not necessarily able to punish them.
Yeah, so that's 2 Drakes to lead for Liv Sandbox very early on. 2 Drakes before 12 minutes, so they are really speed running this, which, given their composition, I think is extremely critical. They start to get these, you know, optimal advantages as soon as they can. And now with this trade onto Lava, or this health bar being chunked down, you see an opportunity once again to fight for this vision and look for now the Rift Herald, which is going to be a lot of extra gold. But the timing window of this is so thin right now. It's only a minute and a half before the plates go down, so you're basically looking at a second Herald. Oh, Kroko has to flash, and this is an opportunity now for Fred Brion.
Yeah. Teleport was coming in, so he decided to just flash away from that one. Maybe he could have crescent guarded, but didn't want to take a chance. Very hard to get away from a Viego if the Viego wins, so he says nope, presses that nope button, and gets out of there. But as you mentioned, I mean, this should be going over to the side of Fred Brion, although you do see that Kroko is not totally gone. He did rotate up to the top side, and here comes effort from the bottom lane. Just desperately trying to get a fight started before Delight gets here. Doesn't have flash himself, throws out a solar flare, and actually the rotation comes in, and Fred Brion are like, actually, you can have this objective.
And effort almost goes down here, but he lives. His first Eclipse was really well timed to actually absorb a lot of that damage. And they have to drop this Rift Herald right now if they want to get plates out of this. And I think the timing is just not going to work out. 40 seconds to go. Kroko runs over to do his Gromps. Or not Gromps, Krugs. Stone Grompy like characters over there.
And then now going for the red Gromp.
Yeah, the big red Gromp, exactly.
Yeah, true.
Red Gromp ate too much Shin Ramyun earlier and feeling a little under the weather. His stomach's a little bit upset, but yeah, we are looking at a plateless game, I think. 10 seconds on that. The observers are highlighting not a single plate has fallen. This will be the first time, I think, this year, unless I'm missing one.
I can't wait for the plate graph now.
Here we go.
Let's see it, 0 and 0.
Pop it up. I said pop it up.
Okay.
How long does it take to type 0? There we go.
There we go. It's a lot of zeros, guys.
Yeah, that's a rare one. Not amazing for Liv Sandbox. They were definitely the team that wanted to get a lot of value out of this.
Yep. And Kroko not able to land that Scout of the Week, and Lava will be quite annoying. Gonna land another chain, but nobody can actually save him, as even Prince just runs in there and gets caught out. That's a couple of kills here as Fred and Breon are just saying, this is not your jungle, it's actually ours. So they take down a couple of members plus the blue buff.
Yeah, a lot of advantages here for Fred and Breon. And that's, you know, the biggest tell, I think, in this moment is just their coordination around this Thresh. Their pick potential is going to be so important in these upcoming team fights. And they need to be quick and they need to be decisive. And they showed they can be both in this moment here where they collapse in, grab a punish there, grab the blue buff. Now going to look for potentially a turret here. It's at full health, so it's going to take a little bit of time. This one was like the least plated, but yeah, Crescendum is big.
Yeah, this is this is going down. So we have a one-on-one up on the top side. The belt to try to get away, and the stun will come in. No committal to the slicing maelstrom. Says, I'm not ready to go for that. Maybe if he got kicked, he would be forced into using that ability.
With 1 minute to go before this Drake fight, which will be sole point for Liv Sandbox, I think holding on to that was definitely the right option, because that's going to be your key tool to engage as Liv Sandbox going to what is a must-win fight for Fred Breon, and could also end up being a turning point. If they end up getting a ton of gold out of this one team fight and stop the Drake explosion here for Liv Sandbox, that Drake control they have right now, it's massive for them going to later parts of the game. I mean, this is a timing too where Fate doesn't actually have his Mythic online. The same is true of Lava, but again, we're scaling towards a game that Fred Breon are going to have a lot of power in with this Aphelios later on. So you absolutely want to win this one. You need every tool possible. He holds onto his teleport here. And
yeah,
you know what? Fred Breon look like they're kind of posturing to give this one up, but I don't think you can make that choice right now.
I'm glad you mentioned the item timings, because Henna just went back and got a shield bow, yes. And you do that, but you give away your turret.
And control of the Drake.
Yeah, but you get, now Prince doesn't have his Mythic. He doesn't have his shield bow yet available, but as you're mentioning, yeah, you got the item, but you're not using it for anything unless you commit to a fight.
Liv Sandbox showing almost too much respect here. They didn't start this Drake up very quickly.
Yeah, and now Fred and Breon are in position, so that item advantage is going to come into effect now. Lava has been so good on this LeBlanc so far. The teleport's now coming in.
It's a weak teleport, though. He doesn't have an angle to engage with.
He actually just flashed away. He's like, nope. Looks like that hook actually touched Prince, but not quite in the way he was looking for, as we have the Slicing Maelstrom coming in, and they're getting Prince to dive forward, but the Lee Sin is too big, and he's still alive, and Prince has no front line anymore. Fred and Breon get the dragon. They get all the kills. The teleport will come out. And yes, he will live, but what for, as everybody else on his team died?
And the way that Liv Sandbox handled this fight is a little bit concerning, because not only did they have the priority advantage there, but they also were grouped up and ready to take it. They have enough damage at the stage with the Callista, even without Immortal Shield Bow, to actually start the Drake up and look for the fight. You can force a fight on your terms there. They don't have any vision control or ward coverage. So when Summit decides to teleport in, albeit very late, he has to do so behind Liv Sandbox. So watch this ward. It's a control ward in the brush down there. That's the only place he can realistically teleport to. He's not going to teleport to that one that's on top of Fred Breon there, right to the side of the Drake. And so look at all the chip damage that comes through her. He flashes and rocket belts in, and the split is beautiful for Fred Breon. They know that's the only real engage tool Liv Sandbox have. They know the teleport is so late here that as long as they split the Slicing Maelstrom, it's an easy cleanup, as we're going to watch Lava try to catch him.
Ah, 까비!
Oh, too bad. But, yeah, he almost got him there. But yeah, that was such a fight for Liv Sandbox. I think could have gone so many better ways if they had preemptively set it up a lot better, or had started the Drake a lot faster. Slicing Maelstrom, almost no value in that fight.
Yeah. And when you do something like that and it's not a flank, you're the one that has to overextend. As you see Lava, he's playing LeBlanc. You know it's getting desperate when you're trying to gank the LeBlanc who's level 13 has flash, right? I mean, the chances of you actually killing him there are incredibly low. You totally leave your bottom lane open. Sandbox a bit sloppy in this one, and Fred and Breon are a good enough team to say, okay, I mean, you're going to give us so many advantages, we will immediately hop on that. And they have been looking good so far in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to be somewhat, fair to the composition of Live Sandbox, the Slicing Maelstrom wasn't the only way you turn that fight, but they were clearly preemptively trying to set up for that turning moment, and the positioning was just way too better elsewise for Fred Brion. They had the box set up to light put that one down. It's just really rough. Scout of the Week here is good. Not going to be enough to get anything. That's another tool they could have used to try to set up for the Slicing Maelstrom, the Scout of the Week, but they don't use them together. Live Sandbox is not a game that's over for them by any means because they lose control of this Drake, but their tempo advantage is waning against a comp that is going to hit its big spike actually very soon. Live Sandbox are like now finally with all their items online, but this is the last moment where they're going to be at their peak. When we look at the next 2 Drake fights, like that's when you're going to start to really wane quite significantly in terms of your power level.
Hoya has been a menace here on this Lee Sin. He has not made this lane very easy for Summit. He also had an incredible kick in that last fight. Summit, he's going to get the stun down, but what for? He can't get out of this. He doesn't have his flash, and 3 members of Fred Brion come over and easily collect the kill.
And his flash was used for that Slicing Maelstrom all-in that didn't work earlier. So, we talked about how he lost his flash. Sometimes we talk about lost flashes and engages like that. They don't end up becoming important later. But this time, he can't get out because he doesn't have a flash that he used moments ago. And this decision is starting to really stack against Live Sandbox as he's caught in the side lane. That's a kill. That's Baron control. Going over to Fred Brion, I don't think they could take that just yet, but they can at least force Live Sandbox to respawn. They get the top turret. Tons of extra money going over to Lava. He's only 4 assists into this game, but he's 20 CS up. Got a whole extra turret worth of gold. He's in a massive lead, and the Aphelios is coming online. This is bad news for Live Sandbox.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's quite rough, and this might actually turn into a game where Effort doesn't pick up an assist. If things don't change.
That's actually true.
They don't have a single kill. There's nobody on the side of Live Sandbox that's been able to do anything, and he's barely off of his turret here, and Hoya's like, yeah, let me just collect another free kill. The purple buff is cannon up in the top side right now. He hasn't been able to do too much in this game.
It has been very, very difficult. And with the map control that Fred Brion have, sometimes with Kennen you can just flank Slicing Maelstrom and win a team fight that way. We've seen it many a time here in the LCK. But when you don't have enough map control to get that deep warding off to have a flank teleport, that's not an option anymore. You're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. As this is going to get another charge.
All right, well, no. This is one way to get an engage going as the flash comes in. The immediate cleanse, like not even a split second was saved there. Summit now has to flash the wall, and now they're all grouped up. Lava gets huge damage, and the kick just executes the cannon. No Slicing Maelstrom for you, as now it is just ravaging the front line. Everybody's being hunted down as the Viego steals Callista. That's about the scariest combo I've ever seen. Able to pick up 3 of them, and Fred and Brion are just demolishing them here in this game.
All the damage is stacked up as Lava did oodles of it when he decided to go in. And the distortion there does massive amounts, plus the Ludens, and then you have Aphelios dropping in his Moonlight Vigil, and that's it. That's the fight. And Summit didn't get to keep his flash for very long. He decided to go for that extreme flank angle where they were extremely desperate to get that catch, that wraparound, to prevent this from being a second Drake going over to Fred Brion. They fail. They lose 2 players. They give a ton of extra gold over to Fred Brion and give both objectives, the Baron and the Drake. It doesn't get worse than this. As you see it, Summit's like, I've got to do something here. The box is set up here, so Effort can't really follow up. And Summit's like, oh no, now I got a flash. I've only had my flash for like 20 seconds, Wolf, but I got to do it again. And then, boom, Distortion comes through. The follow-up damage is insane. As watch Henna too. He's like, I'll lantern in and do even more. The Scout of the Week is desperation. It's big value, but I think you're starting to feel the pressure. You're starting to feel like this game is way out of your hands. 11,000 gold on the dot, the lead here for Fred Brion.
Yeah, this game is certainly out of control. Like, It is. We are fully off the rails. This train is flying away. Fred and Brian, they are. This is. I mean, this is the look that you see when they play against a top team, and that top team gives them even an inch. And yeah, I mean, Fate can do some damage, but it just doesn't matter at this point. Down as they're down about 12,000 gold here. And Fred and Brian, they have all the map. You know what's bad when they take 3 people on the Baron, 1 person on the Dragon, the other guy's split pushing. Like, there's really no hope for anybody else. Fred and Brian.
When you get to play the game optimally like that, you're like, well, your opponent can't stop any facet of what's the best way to get the most value out of the whole map right now. It's a big warning sign for you. You might be going into a game 3 after that one. As effort, it's crazy you mentioned, it completely slipped my mind. Might go without getting a single assist this game, which would just be absurd. But you know what? The only way it happens is the 0. And we don't actually delete those from the records. Don't get scared. People is okay, Croco.
Yeah. It would just feel bad.
It would feel really bad.
And well, Scout of the Week is not going to hit the orb he would have liked it to be used on. As Fred and Brian here, they have Baron. They're just pushing a couple of lanes. Lava's just laughing at the entire team. If I were him, I would just do a little dance there as well before hopping back in my W. Why not? Tilt them even more for game 3 because it's absolutely looking like we're going into that one.
I mean, we are, yeah, we definitely are. Effort in the front line here looking for something. Big Engage could give them just 1 pick. Yeah. Summit does have his ultimate available, but he doesn't have an angle. Once again, he has no room to flank with. He can't actually get behind this team to sandwich them, set up for those stuns.
Yeah, Fred and Brian with the double Ocean Drake as well. They're just like sitting back here, doing a bit of poke. Lava regens to full. You go back in over and over again. And yeah, I mean, outside of the Solar Flare, outside of the Scout of the Week, it's about all you have in terms of engages on the side of Live Sandbox other than just running straight at them. And I don't even know if you want to do that at this point.
Not really. This game is, the train is in the sky, as you said, and there you go, Magi Soul Stealer, because why not? It doesn't look like this game is going to get any more difficult for Lava anytime soon. It's just going to be a lot more fun.
I'm pretty sure that Lava didn't die in game number 1.
Yeah, he's had a really amazing series.
Survived all the way until the end. Maybe he died once before he was trying to stop the push by himself, but I don't remember that being the case. And he hasn't died in this game either, so this is a series where you buy the Magi Soul Stealer.
He's been very slippery, you know, as LeBlanc often is, you know, and he's played it so well. He was one of the first players, actually was the first player to play LeBlanc here in the LCK this year. 3-0-3, we got the confirmation, deathless in game 1, so puts him at a 4-0-9 at the moment. Oh, sorry, yeah, I think I got that right. Don't do math on stream. It disappeared right when I said it. I'm like, I think I read that right.
Yeah, just trolling you.
But, I mean, the observers are doing us dirty with this graph. Like, Live Sandbox, they don't deserve this. just let them in. No, it's rough. And you can't come back, right? As the comp doesn't scale as well. So, okay.
Oh, well,
almost a death there.
Even from this far ahead, you know, we were talking about how Lava can't just run and dive straight into the back line unless you're assassinating one person, because you could just get blown up yourself, and we actually did see it in action. So that was one interesting thing that happened in this game.
I love it when Lava proves my color points, man. He's one of my favorite players.
There might not be many other interesting points, but we have that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a 3rd Ocean Drake. He's like, hold on, let me just... I heard you guys like healing when we are trying to push down the base, so I thought I'd give you a little bit more of that. If you guys want to wait 5 more minutes, I can get you the big one in a little bit. Yeah, well, this is a game that we will continue to commentate because there's always the off chance that... well, firstly and foremost, because we're professionals and this is our job, but the other reason I was going to say was because there's always a chance that Fred and Brian do just completely trip over themselves and fall over. And to put that chance at below 1%, like it was about what their playoff chance was before their last best of 3. I think they're going to close this one out. It's just a matter of doing it, which is why they're playing it slow, playing it safe. I don't know. Sometimes these games are hard to cast, Valdez. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to be a professional. I'm like, no, it's like just going to be slow and steady wins the race, right? That's what the Usopp's Fables
Just like
taught
the
me.
tortoise and the hare. Great reference.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that one before. As, yeah, they're going to get on top of effort here. And Fate's Call, I don't know why. It feels like that was the first time I've seen this one, but probably was used in other moments. Either way, it does save Effort's life.
Do you feel like the story still holds true if it's a rabbit and a turtle?
No, that's a different story for sure.
Look at the lantern positioning here. Delight.
Oh! I'm just like waiting to see if Effort gets it.
I know, that's the only
assist.
thing. That's the only thing I care about right now. That's the only thing that matters. Like the observers are watching him too. Like, sorry, Effort. They didn't have vision. They were like, oh, and the minions are winning the game.
Hey, they stopped the Baron there for about 30 seconds. But yeah, the minions are pushing in. Fred and Brian with 3 Ocean Drakes kind of can just get in there onto that one, and that's what they will. You see the 2 assist pings from the red team on the mid lane and the top lane outer turret.
Just less than a minute on both of those inhibitors here for Live Sandbox. And once those respawn, you do get 1 team fight. Kind of, not really actually, because the Baron buff is just gonna have the same impact, and you're still gonna have to fight against mini waves. But you will. The game will not end until players of Live Sandbox die. So that what I'm trying to say is that we got about 45 seconds minimum more gameplay. I'd say up to 2 minutes.
Wow, it's pretty brutal actually. Not giving him much time left in this one.
That's my official prediction. If I do game time probability as we do with our playoff standings, that's where my calculation is.
Well, I mean, there's always the chance that Fate, who is level 16, can blow someone up. The question is can they win a 5v4? I think, you know, there's potential if maybe you catch like Delight out of position, you randomly blow him up, and it's like, oh, okay, well, they're going to buy themselves some time. Live Sandbox are going to hold on to their final inhibitor turret for now. As they lose their mid inhibitor, Lava basically just roams free. There's no one that can really touch him, so he's just going to get those inhibitors up on the top side of the map here for free. Live Sandbox, it seems like they're saying they will make their final stand on this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, there's no turrets on the map. Well, actually, wards. There's one on the left side there that could be teleported to, but that's not where Fred and Brian is. So there's no way for Summit to try to flank Slicing Maelstrom here. Actually, there's one just below them, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. That's your opportunity,
There's a couple, and Lava gets in there. He gets blown up. Here's the teleport coming in. Is it meant to be? As they isolate 3 of them on the bottom side, the knockup comes in, and now they get on top of Henna. As Henna's going to go down, there's a lot of big shutdowns being given over, but now you lose your Kalista. And Fate wasn't able to join this fight, so it will be just the 2 for 2. And the teleport is coming in immediately. This is right on top of them as they try to get to Fate here. Hoya is nearly unkillable at this point, but they stun him down, and he went a little bit too far. And down he will go.
Now, the big news is Effort is 1,001 assists, or 2,001, excuse me. It's 2,001 assists here in the LCK. There you go.
8th in the LCK.
Only a very elite small group. Key isn't going to be getting that one anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah,
Pharaoh's on his way.
Look at some of these names, right? Like Gorilla, Tucson, Wolf. We got a couple of Wolves here in the LCK now. Mata, Mad Life.
Yeah, Mad Life, that's a higher number than I expected, but I guess I should have.
Snowflower.
I should have known Mad Life would be way up there.
Yeah.
How long he
played
played.
for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's going to be the upper part of my estimations after this. Oh, I saw that ward on the left side, the one that's not being teleported to, the observer shows, but I didn't see this one. Someone actually takes this opportunity to teleport in, look for the Maelstrom, and this is when Effort comes through. The Fate's Call is really nice here, but it's a matter of the money, right, and the items here that are just way better for Fred and Brian. And so they still end up trading.
Hoya's sustain is so disgusting.
Yeah, no, he's
at this point, and he still dies somehow.
he does not have Guardian Angel. As Fate actually buys so much time here, and he's being body blocked. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. And
So the game goes on. Still a chance. That is what I am saying.
So you're saying, oh, I see. And you know, as it is, when you lose all 3 inhibitors, it's like you're playing against 2 extra champions. The 7v5 is on, and there's way too many super minions here. As eventually you can just try to poke them down. Nice stun here on the lava. He has to go into his Zhonya's, and now he might die, and there it is. Liv Sandbox are still alive in this game.
This is like a very stoppable force versus an immovable object. Unfortunately for Frederick Breon, this is really starting to, I don't want to say fall apart, and I don't want to say that they've lost control of this game or anything like that, but
With Ocean Soul.
yeah, it's like, how do you mess this one up? Well, this is a really nice stun from Fate. As Moonlight Vigil comes through, perfect Scour of the Week here. Lava is
And the
just
timing.
It's perfectly timed.
Yeah.
And that's massive. So a lot of shutdown gold going over to the Syndra. Just getting one step closer now to her death cap.
And Lava did sell his Magi Soul Stealer
Yeah.
after that play. He decides he is not worthy.
He's like, I hope no one noticed I had that before. But he wants the gold back.
Yeah, he borrowed the book from the library, and he's going to have to give that one back.
At least he avoided his late fee overcharges.
Yeah, absolutely. He's 2 weeks ahead on that one. Hoya, you know, he can absolutely catch someone as into the play he goes. Krako is he's in a bit of trouble here. Doesn't quite have the Crescent Guard. Is about to get it. There it is. But it's a little bit too little too late. So the jungler of Liv Sandbox gets caught out. And
right before Baron?
Say, yep, let's get the Baron.
Well, I'm trying to imagine a world, and it's very difficult for me. I can imagine a lot of things, but I'm trying to imagine a world where Frederick Breon with Baron buff, right now, 37 minutes into the game, with the, what is it now? That's about 10,000 gold to lead. Less than 10,000.
Yeah.
Don't win this game. I'm trying to imagine that world.
Not quite enough.
If Lava dies here, I could see it. It becomes a lot more clear, but...
Yeah. We've seen some crazy things in the LCK, and with the way the last 5 minutes have gone, certainly it makes you begin to believe a little bit at a time.
Yeah, I mean, we were joking about Liv Sandbox trying to make them this bit of a harder series for them, trying to think outside the box, trying to draft a little bit differently, take on a challenge here, try to improve, and I've taken it to an extreme level, it feels like, in this game. Like, how do we win a game 9,000 gold down? 4 Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul against us.
Yeah. Basically, the only way you can kill someone again, it's really going to be up to Syndra.
Yeah, without the burst.
Syndra can't get it, then nobody can. And effort is not enough. They need damage. They need to burst someone down. Okay, they got him into his Zhonya's, and the hook goes down on an effort. Fate's call is there, and now...
Teleport!
Got the flank coming in. They're actually going to get a nice engage here onto that backline. The Aphelios goes down, but is it too heavy? The wallets, are they enough? As they're trying to get on top of Krako here, Lava's still alive. They take down the Xin Zhao. Fate trying desperately alongside a Prince and Summit to hold on for dear life here as the Lee Sin goes in onto the Kennen, and he will be finally taken down, as it looks like they have just barely done enough to win this game. 38 minutes, but they will take down the Nexus, as Frederick Breon will bring us to a game number 3.
They couldn't imagine it either.